How we doing, good people? Welcome to the Weed Squad presents Montez at midday. Hope everyone is doing fine on this way back Wednesday. What up Wednesday edition of the show? We're getting it in. We're getting it in, good people. If it's your first time joining in, thank you so much. We do appreciate it. To get you caught up on the show, you can visit www.dremontez.com. We also have a social media platform on Facebook for our podcast, Who's to Blame. Go to Who's to Blame, use the number 2, as well as on Instagram, Who's to Blame the podcast, Twitter at W2B Dre Montez, as well as YouTube Dre Montez and TikTok Dre Montez 63. You can get caught up on the latest episode of the podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast at. But the best way is to tune into the page, Dre Montez, as well for that one, and Who's to Blame the podcast, where we post them both on there and share the episodes on there as well. But other than that, how's everybody doing? Got high fives in the building. Chest bump. Let's hug it out. Gotta get one of them good hugs in there. Good hugs in there. If you're celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday to you. Special birthday shout out to my cousin, Gangsta Bubs. Rest easy, brother. Rest easy. Rest easy. You are missed and loved. If you're celebrating anything else today, congratulations. If you're worried about it, you got it. You got it. I also shout out to my cousin, Fontbonne University's own number 23, Courtney White, recorded her second triple-double against Westminster last week. She almost had a quadruple-double. She almost had a quadruple-double. I don't know if there's been done at Fontbonne before, but we're going to check the record books. Keep doing your thing, cuz. Number 23, Courtney White in the building. In the building. Shout out to Friendly Sports Bar in South City. You know, a majority of the, all of the advertising sponsors on the show are small business, family-owned, do great things in the community. And that's why I try to push people to the sponsor page. You can take a chance and look at some of these people that we have as advertisers and sponsors on the show, from Belleville, Illinois, downtown St. Louis, historic Soulard, and over in South City off Morgan Ford and Roger Place, where we have people. And I would just like to shout out to Tower Pub for one, the great, tremendous work they've been doing in the community, bringing different things to there for as events and the way they've been promoting their beers that they have to offer. So keep it up, guys. And Airbnb that they have as well. And Friendly's in South City on Roger Place. I tell you, the way they go and beyond to make sure everything goes well for people does not go unnoticed. So keep it up, keep doing great things. And the way the Blues fans have been coming to both of these bars to show support for a hockey team is not going unnoticed. So I just want to give a shout out to all of the sponsors and advertisers of the show that have been doing some amazing things in the community for their patrons and the community. So keep it up, guys. Does not go unnoticed at all. Shout out to nephew Kenny. He from the north, hang out on the south, and delivers mail in St. Charles. You talking about a conversation piece? That's all I'm saying. Matt and Tosh and the crew as well. All you good people. And I think Cassie Joe is still celebrating the victory that Georgia had. Ugga beat Bama. Did nobody forget, did they? Did nobody forget? When you win, you don't forget anything. When you lose, I don't want to talk about it no more. The game over with. I'm my all-time favorite. It's just a game, man. What? Whoever said that or came up with that cliche, I want to know how did they really feel when they said that? What was on their mind? What was on their mind? But without further ado, let's get on into it, folks. It is what I like to call What Up Wednesday. What's up? We like to throw back. We like to reminisce about the days of yesteryear when you and your friends would dress alike, go to parties, go to Six Flags. You and your crew would get y'all girls and y'all all go to the zoo and hold hands. We've come a long way since then. Even the road trips have changed a little bit from when you were younger and you got permission from your mom, dad, or your grandma or grandpa, whoever was raising you, to go out of town with your crew. And the attack mode then was a little different. You went out of town to kick it and get some ass back then when you were younger. When you were younger, as you get older, you want to go see things. You want to go to sporting events. You want to get dressed up. You want to eat some outstanding food. And it becomes much more of a trip. It becomes an experience. And when we were younger, we barely remember anything. We barely remember any of these trips. I can't tell you 5 places that I went to when Freaknik was possible and popping. I can't tell you nothing about it. Nothing. That was not the focus point. But as you get older, you want to find out about this landmark, or you want to go see this, or I done heard about that, or I heard y'all got this type of food here. That's how I'm preparing for this basketball game in Oklahoma. I want the experience of Oklahoma. And I think by the itinerary that I've seen, it definitely would be a job that's done. What made me bring that up, I ran into a few people last week that were visiting St. Louis, South City for the first time since they were like teenagers. And a lot of things they didn't remember, because when they came to St. Louis, it was about the landing. It was about Union Station. It was the party scene when they came here. And now they've been checking out how each neighborhood has changed throughout the decades. And I think that's an experience that we're all going through. When you get older, you just look at things a little differently. I don't think it's old head versus the youngsters no more. But when you're going out of town, you want to really get the true essence of the experience of what brought you to that city or town or experience right there. But again, happy Wednesday to you, kids. Happy Wednesday. Stay hydrated. H2O is the best. Now, in light of what has happened with Alabama and Georgia, what happened with the Arizona Cardinals, and what happened with the Dallas Cowboys, here it is Wednesday. We're still seeing evidence of all these games. What could have went right went wrong. What went wrong should have went right. Everybody has a different analogy, a take, a camera angle, a view, their own insight, the numbers, their own debate. I've been listening to some great shows. Shout out to ASAP Network, All Sports, All Players Network. Check them out. They got some great programming on there as well. But some folks have been bringing some facts to the tables on what they saw from the Alabama-Georgia game. One of the key points everyone keeps making, if Alabama wouldn't have lost their 2 receivers going into that game, that would have been a different outcome. Here's my thing on that. Nick Saban and that coaching staff knew the circumstances at the receiving position, why they didn't make the proper adjustments for that as they're getting close to the game, we'll never know. Now on to the Dallas Cowboys and the fans throwing debris and Dak going off on the refs. How much was that fine, by the way? Because you still get fined for that. And his apology yesterday. Look, the state of winning is where we're at right now. The state of winning is on a whole new level. On a whole new level. I don't know if you've ever played sports yourself and you've won anything and you think back to that moment, what it took to get to that point. From the coaches to the players itself. There's a lot involved. And if all parts not moving together, there's going to be a kink in the chain. And that's what happened to me. Everybody said the playoff, everyone starts off 0-0. The playoffs are a different mindset. We get all of that. But when it's a rival, and everybody wants to bring up the money. They gave this man $75 million. If we take away the money from a whole lot of things, especially athletes, I guarantee the judgment would be totally different on athletes because we know too much. When you give somebody a certain amount of money, you expect certain results for them. And when it's not coming, that's the first thing that comes into question is your state of play, and you got all that money now. But let's look at what led up to this, the preparations and getting ready for that playoff game. Was Dallas playing that good heading into that playoff game? I don't think so. There were some questions, and the offense knew that. So on the state of winning, why didn't they prepare what the difficulty natures were with them offensively moving the ball? Why didn't they attack that in practice, in game film, in the conversation with the players, in the walkthrough. We always hearing from the players and the coaches on the quick response right after the game. But now there's been some thought process put in this. There's been a way a publicist has said, don't say that. Here's what you can say. And then there's some raw and uncut would go with this. But as Dallas Cowboy players, I would like to hear more from them on what they foresaw leading up to that game. That's how my take is. And I watched that Dallas game twice just to see what actually, how did they get here? Because San Fran did not play their best game. San Fran was trying to give the game away to Dallas too, but things happened. On to the Arizona game. Now, Kyler Murray and the Cardinals were on a different level until they hit a little kink in the road, and we were trying to figure out, okay, what are they going to do now? Cliff Kingsbury stepped up the game, showed a little ballsy initiative play calling as they were leading up to the playoffs. But again, was Arizona playing their top-notch football leading up to that game against the Los Angeles Rams? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. And then on the other side, you saw the Rams defense finally show up with the expectations when they got the added weapons on that team. They were moving so fast during that game. Kyler Murray did not run the ball. He had the fewest rushes in that game than any other game he's played in the NFL. So why did they take the run factor out of the game? Was Cliff Kingsbury trying to prove to the naysayers that didn't believe in Kyler Murray because of his size? He runs too much. We need to be a pocket passer in the playoffs. Was he trying to expose the weakness? Because I'm looking at the body language of Kyler Murray during that whole game. Something was off. Something was off. He's private, but not private. He talks about certain things. I want to see if he addresses this again after the Super Bowl, before training camp opens, about the mindset. Now, I know the videos have been surfacing why he's sitting with the quarterback coach and the backup coach when Buddha went down. There's all kind of speculations around that. But here's one thing about a lot of NFL quarterbacks. A lot of them like to distance themselves. We don't see the sideline all the time in every game to see what the quarterbacks are doing. It's a different mindset. They're trying to put themselves in what we like to call the zone. Baseball pitchers do it all of the time. Nobody says a thing to them. But the ones that are a little bit more vocal, a little bit more hands-on, we look at that and try to compare it to them. Is that even fair? But the state of winning is where we're at right now. And I'm just thinking, now we're moving forward with football. And now we're seeing more of the state of winning on what players are willing to do for themselves and the team to put themselves in the best position to win. But what about the coaches? Are the coaches doing their top-notch job? Because I've heard twice from two different coaches say we were outplayed and outcoached. They were more prepared for this game. How do you not get your team prepared for the game? That is one of those intriguing questions that happens a lot in sports. Anytime I hear a coach say that, I'm like, what do you mean you didn't get us prepared? I mean, we watch game film. We had a game plan. We tried to initiate that game plan, but something happened. But how do we get over the hump? How do we get over the obstacle? How do you get over the adversities of the game in live play? This is not the following week. This is in-game adversities that you must overcome. Yes, I think a lot more coaches need to do a better job at that. But is it more blame or pressure on the players or the coaching at that point? I say the coaching because you got the people upstairs in the box. They have instant print access to print out what they see as a read, a coverage, an opportunity for a home run play. Is the communication factor there? Is the Wi-Fi working? I mean, I need to know more because I see all these people do a certain body language and act when they're winning. But when that crucial point of the game comes, now nobody wants to talk to each other. Don't nobody know how to call in no audible now, the hand signs. Nobody knows to do that now. Nobody can read the defense. Nobody can read that offensive scheme they're coming out with now. I believe the first quarter, third quarter, and some points are big points in the playoffs. Each possession is key, as all winning coaches and players will tell you that from film pass watching when they get on these football shows and these podcasting shows. They tell you what they believe was the crucial point of the game. Because if you come out with the ball and you drive it down the field with a nice set of plays, you feel good about yourself, and the defense feels good. Now, everybody's feeling good, but if we keep doing these 3 outs, 3 and outs, 3 and outs, and 3 and outs, and you keep the defense on the field for up to 7 to 12 plays, that becomes a finger-pointing situation to me. It becomes a finger-pointing situation, and is that a good look for the team? With the state of winning, we have seen stories, we have heard from actual players that told us went on during that championship run. Some of it's kind of questionable behavior, but they won. That's the bottom thing. Are you trying to win? Are you in here to make money? Or are you in here to sell more jerseys? Or are you in here to win a championship? And there's a big difference of getting a team together to all be on the same page of that level. Sometimes it happens for some people, and sometimes it does not. It all depends on who the speaker is, who's giving the message. Is it really getting in? We sit at home and we say this game can't be that hard. It can't be hard based on what we know about a certain team offensively, defensively, special teams, the coaching experience. You're feeling a good upside to that. And then a game will start and you're like, wait a minute now. What is going on? I mean, it happens in the NBA. It happens in Major League Baseball. It happens in hockey. In the 4 major sports, it happens each and every time. I think one of the best probably to have that in-game adjustment to me has been golf players. But I know a lot of people don't think golf is a sport. Yes, it is. If they're keeping score, it's a sport. If you're keeping score, it's a sport. Let that sink in, kids. Let that sink in. But on a more serious side of the state of winning, we see things when coaches get in their feelings. They think they're playing the game. Coach ain't played in 42 years. But with the way they're calling the game, instead of taking advantage of the attributes and the accolades of the athletes that they have, people question that. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You have one of the best quarterbacks on the run and you want to keep him in the pocket? What? What the hell? You haven't been able to run the ball with, I guess, with continued success, but you want to go in here with a game plan of running the ball? What gave you that bright idea? What really gave you that bright idea? I'd say there have been 2 documentaries that I saw that really shine the light on in-game changes, understanding the window of winning opportunity, and understanding the type of players that you have. The first one was the World Series between the 1986 Mets and the Boston Red Sox. That is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful documentary. I mean, broken down game by game when the Mets knew they didn't have a chance by a particular pitcher, and vice versa. Boston knew what they had to do to beat them. But we all know what happened in that game and in that World Series outcome. But it's a great, great documentary. And also, I got to go to The Last Dance. He's telling you, as they're doing the overlay of them losing, building pieces of the puzzle, putting it all together, figuring it out. You got to have that in-game moment to realize we got to change it up right now. I mean, coach can see it all, but coach can't go in here and play the game for us. In the words, remember the Titan. Coach done all he's supposed to do. 40 yards? 40 yards? The mindset. But the state of winning is something else. You just tuned in. Thank you so much. Again, this is Montez at Midday, being brought to you by a title sponsor, the Weed Squad St. Louis. Check those guys out as their hours adjusted. They're located at 8088 Watson Road. Your cannabis location for you right there. So check them on out, good people. Do your thing, do your thing, do your thizzle. All right. Next up. So when it comes to this Major League Baseball strike, I feel like they don't want us to know nothing. I don't know if you're baseball fans. I don't know if you watch any of the shows on MLB Network, but I feel as though the way the messages have been coming out of what's being talked about, what's being said, are kind of cryptic. Why they don't want us to know? I mean, baseball is more secretive than golf. I mean, baseball don't tell you nothing. I mean, it takes players decades to talk about anything, whether it was a great accolade or maybe it was something that was a little controversial. But I would like to shout out to all the baseball players that have been popping on these different podcasts. And my man Jared Reaver just got raw. You want to cry at the plate and take that long and grab your crotch? I'm hitting that elbow. That's real talk. That's real talk. I've been seeing a lot more about when pitchers are in a situation they end up hitting the batter and they know they did it on purpose, because we know one thing: baseball players do not forget. So I know there's a short window of opportunity to play the complete season without losing any spring training games. But with the type of rigorous schedule that Major League Baseball has, are they going to try to shorten the gap on the season and put all these games a little bit together? If that happens, I mean, we've known them to have an adjustable season and schedule before. But now with this Major League Baseball strike situation going on, I just think they're keeping everything a secret into themselves. Why we can't know what's going on with the discussion of Major League Baseball? I'm not saying I want to know shit like Instagram people be posting in pro sports. I don't want to know all that stuff. You know, you keep your ride, your supposed girlfriend and husband. I don't want to see all that. I don't care about your jewelry and what you went and bought at the mall. None of that matters. None of that matters. What matters is how are you doing at your sports job? Let's talk about that. That's what I'm more concerned about. Get me in there. Get me in there. The hell with your ride, your whip, your crib, your girl, all that. I don't care what you let your mama go shopping at. None of that matters. What matters is them stats and W's on the team that you're affiliated are doing. But Major League Baseball, as a fan, can you let us know what's going on? That's all I'm saying right there. I want to know what's going on. Quick rundown right now, the TV shows that I'm peeping again. Have you seen the ABC show Abbott Elementary? The kid from Everybody Loves Chris on there. This show is on a whole new level. I haven't been inside of an elementary school since Veterans Day 2016. That's the last time I was inside of an elementary school. Last time. And this TV show, if elementary school is like that, bless you teachers, bless you parents, bless you custodian workers, and more importantly, bless the kids. But it's a very well-written show. Check it out. It comes on Tuesday nights on ABC. I think we all caught up on Peacemaker. I think we all caught up on that show with John Cena. If you didn't hear me before, John Cena is a superhero that's horny all the time, and his dad's a racist. And the puns and the black humor and the way they put things together, it's a pretty interesting show if you haven't had a chance to check it out on HBO Max. It's some good shows on HBO Max. Matter of fact, it's some good shows streaming out there, period. Just period all the time streaming out there. There's always something out there for somebody to watch or for anyone to take a look at right there. But again, this is Montez at midday. And thank you again to our title sponsor, the Weed Squad, St. Louis. Good people. So what's on your schedule for the rest of the day? I don't think it's too bad outside. It looks nice and peaceful. Nice and peaceful. A little side note about dogs. Keep your dog on a leash, especially if it's one of them big-ass dogs. Keep your dog on a leash. People People over 45 years old do not like spontaneous running from an animal. I posted a video a few years ago when my dog Espen was still alive, and I'm walking her down the street, and when we passed this dog, the dog was in the fence, but the dog was real agitated. As we come back and pass the fence, the gate is open and that dog is not in there. So I immediately say to myself, oh, maybe the dog went in the house. And we're walking and something tells me to turn around. And that dog was just standing there like, what you gonna do? Run. We took off, top speed. And I'm not that fast. Well, back then I had a little speed on. I had a little speed over there. Man, I was 44 years old when I did that run. Shh. There wasn't a car around I could jump on. All the cars are looking nice. There was nowhere I could run. I had my dog in my arm like a football. We hightailing it, and this fucking dog is coming. So, keep them dogs on a leash, especially them big dogs, though. I appreciate it, good people. And I think we're going to. We're going to get out of here. Way back Wednesday edition of the show. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Stay tuned for later on today. Got the new podcast episode to be up. You can check it out live streaming. We'll be on Facebook, Who's to Blame, as well as YouTube, Dre Montez, and Twitter at W2B Dre Montez. In the words of my great-grandpappy, if your back pockets are touching, it means you have no ass at all. You guys have a great day, and don't forget to appreciate the details of the day. Peace.